Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, I'm Inbaal. I'm a psychic, tarot reader, and witch, and I teach tarot. I'm broadcasting at you live from right here in the UK on the Bigfoot Outlaw Network. We're broadcasting right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And after we've gone live, the podcast will be uploaded to all the good podcasting platforms. So you never have to miss a show. We are an interactive show. It means that you can send messages that will appear on the screen, just like this one from Mark B. So as you can see, Mark sent the message from YouTube. That's why there's a little YouTube mark there. And it says, "Good evening, Inbal. I hope you and your family had a lovely holiday. We really did. Hello and good evening, everyone else. I hope that you've all had a nice few weeks break and ready for learning. 1 out of 2. The next message says, also please remember to like and subscribe so you know when Inbal and Co are on so you don't miss them." And Lucianne says, welcome back, beautiful. Mwah. Thank you for the welcome, beautiful. Sandy says, hello, Inbal, blessings. Thank you so much, and greeting each other. So the show is an interactive psychic development show. I primarily deal with the tarot. I demonstrate how to use it, how to get your questions answered, and I also deal with other types of divination at times. What the whole channel is, if you're new to the channel, it is a channel of everything esoteric. So whether you follow us on YouTube or on Twitch or even on Facebook, you might have seen programs that are more to do with crystals or with channeling or even with Bigfoot and with cryptids. If it is a little esoteric, it's probably right here on the channel. So make sure you subscribe to Bigfoot Outlaw. Let's flick a few more messages on the screen. Actually, let me take my coffee if I'm going to do that. It's thirsty work. Let me flick some more messages on the screen before we chat about what we're going to do tonight. Depends where you are. I'm in the UK, but you might not be. Rob says, hello, everyone. Hi, Rob. Mark, greeting Lucianne. Rob, Rob greeting me. It's not coming up. It's not coming up. Wait. The computers do not like you. Rob says, we missed you. I missed you too. Thank you for all the messages. I was thinking, when am I going to get a chance to go through all the messages? And then I thought, actually, that's when you know how toxic my thinking is. Actually, one of my children has been coughing. So if he gets poorly and then infects me, then I can lay in bed and get back to all the messages. That's a really sick way to think of things. But yeah, I'm so happy to hear from you, and thank you for all the messages. Mark, greeting Sandy. Rob, greeting Mark. Lucianne says, I am so happy in my beautiful new home. Tell us more about it. What view is it facing? What door number is it? I want to know all the esoteric bits of it. Have you cleansed it? I don't need to ask. I'm sure you cleansed it a little bit before you went in and then a lot after you went in. What stage of the unpacking are you? Mark is greeting Rob. Sandy is greeting Mark. Mark's greeting Lucianne. Kim is here saying hi, everyone. Hi, Kim. Rob says, you can ignore my messages. Nothing super important. They're just funnies. That's literally why I'm not ignoring them. If there was important stuff, I can't promise you anything. But the funnies, I want to know the funnies. I know what makes you laugh. It's the same stuff that makes me laugh. I want to see all the funnies. Mark says, no, Inbal. We are supposed to meet up sometime this month. We can't have you ill because I would catch it like it's out of fashion. Do you know what? Yes, that is true. It's only the 9th of the month now. So let's leave it another 3 days, see if I get sick, and then sort of fix a date. Because if I haven't got sick in like 3-4 days, I'll probably be okay. Incidentally, specifically for fans of Laura Daligan, Laura's book about the runes is released today. Today is launch day, the long-awaited launch day. It's the 9th of the 9th, and today the book is available on Amazon. Some of us are waiting to buy it from her at Witchfest so that we can get a signed copy, but you might not be some of us. Rob says, I need to order Laura's book. Very exciting. You absolutely do. Mark says, end of the month, but I haven't said that. Yeah, that's fine. End of the month is fine. Let me make sure. Oh, Rob says, we'll wait for Witchfest. Yeah, we're going to have a good time at Witchfest. Let me make sure that everyone's got Laura's correct at. It's Laura Red Witch, isn't it? Correct me if I am wrong. I'm going to put it below Laura Red Witch on Instagram and launching it at you. This is where you want to go. Follow the links to get Laura's book. Laura will hopefully be on with me on Thursday so we can see how the launch day went and whether she needs to order another box. So, as it is the 9th of the 9th, and as it is Virgo season, we have just been through the full moon in Pisces, lunar eclipse of Virgo season. I thought what I wanted to talk about was the work and the tarot. Work and the tarot have a kind of a strong relationship because a lot of people ask about work, and there's so many different ways to view work, to approach work when you do it via the tarot. So I wanted to talk about work. You're welcome to send your work questions in, and you're welcome to listen intently when I go through the different ways of observing work within the tarot. I'm going to use primarily the Rider-Waite-Smith deck for this because I feel like it expresses different work situations in a much more kind of accurate way. Lucianne says number 39 has a beautiful garden with some large trees in next door garden. So I hear the breeze in the trees all the time. High ceilings, Victorian old house. Congratulations. I love that it's 39, right? Because we have a multiple of 3 and then a multiple of 3 times 3, 39 together. 3 plus 9 is 12. 1 and 2 together is 3. So that's sort of such an extreme 3 energy, and the 3 energy has to do with babies. So are you adopting a new pet? Is your pet thinking to maybe get frisky and bring in a mini pet? Something is going on with that 3. Rob says, I can't even tell you how this full moon has been for me. I don't even know. It was everything at once. I could feel it. I felt it. Yeah, it's quite a strong full moon. Obviously, I'm Pisces, so the full moon in Pisces used to be for me like the night that I would get my wallet stolen, like multiple times on the Pisces full moon. The night that I would like get lost on the tubes. It is such a bizarre full moon. Mark says, sorry, Lucianne, I pressed the wrong one. I was going in order. Mark says, that sounds lush, Lucianne. It's good when we can get a nice place. It's a breath of fresh air. And then Lucianne says, view from a bedroom is of the fields and oblique views of the sea. You have water as well. That's amazing. And she says exactly what I thought. I think you mean about the 3. So yeah. Let us know. Luciane says this moon has been incredible. Yeah, so it was for me as well. It was such a bizarre moon because I never go out. Like I never ever go out. I'm always at home or running or working or doing something of that nature. And on the full moon, either the night before or actually on the day, my friend said to me, "Oh, I've got like a +1 for like a launch thing. It's just, it'll be fun to hang out. It doesn't matter about the launch, it'll be fun to hang out." And I was like, yeah, actually, it was like an outdoors thing. So I thought, rain or no rain, at least I'll be outside with the eclipse. So we went on to that launch thing. There was like loads of reality people, which would have been more disorienting had I ever watched TV, which I rarely do. So I recognized, a little bit, but not too much. It was outdoors, although it was cloudy, so we couldn't see the moon until after after the eclipse had finished, but just sort of saw the full moon in its glory. But it was so Pisces in that everybody there was like gorgeous, gorgeous. When you see pictures, and if I'm in any of the pictures, I really sort of stick out. Everybody else was like reality TV gorgeous, this hair and that, and which was already like super surreal. The music was really loud. There was a bar. I don't drink, but I was sort of on soda pop after soda pop, sort of getting really hyper. It was surreal, and Pisces full moon go really well together. So that was so bizarre. And Luciane says, I sat with a friend on the cliffs overlooking the sea, watching the eclipse. Absolute magic. Did you not have clouds? I did not see like a single ounce of it. I did not see a single whisper of the actual eclipse. I was like that the whole time. Like I didn't know exactly where I was. I mean, like, north, south, east, west. So I was looking for it everywhere, and it was just like cloud, 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 cloud. So you knew where to go, and or where to look, and you actually saw it. That is incredible. The Mark says, by the way, Mr. Inbaal, we haven't seen you yet. I don't know, it might be chilling. Andrea says, hello, my beautiful spiritual sister and family. Mwah, 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 mwah. And she's got us a new hashtag, YouTube, this is the best channel. Very nice. And she says, ding, to help your algorithm love. Every little helps, whatever you can do to make the algorithm love us. And honestly, don't be shy. If you just want to drop like a little emoji, sorry, insects. You just want to drop a little emoji, do it. You just want to write something random, do it. It makes the algorithm love us when it knows that you want to interact with us. The was supposed to be hello, Mr. Inbal. Amazing. And Luciane said the clouds broke about halfway through. Did you get any pictures? I got just like a little video, just sort of going from like the lights, TP to the moon. And I thought that really sort of encapsulated it, but it's very hard. It's like notoriously hard to get decent pictures of the moon. So I'm going to go through the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I'm not going to look at all the financial cards. I'm specifically looking for work, aspects of work, things to do with work, anything around that, and anything that I get asked about. Yeah, let's start with these. I've got a few here. So I initially thought that I'm probably going to just look at just look at Pentacles cards, but actually there are enough other cards that also relate to work. So let's start with a really happy one. The Three of Cups. Even though the official meaning of the Three of Cups is three cheers, hurrah, celebration, it comes up for like weddings, it can come up for christenings, for a new baby. We said about the number three. There's something about this card that could be like your end of year bonus. Do you see how they're kind of cheersing? And then they've got the harvest all around them. So the harvest can be the end of a project when you finally get paid. It can be the end of a role when you're, safely moving on to the next role. So it is a card of celebrating something, and it really could be a celebration around work. So this one could sometimes come up when a role is finished. And of course, when a role is finished, we could be looking at choices. So this can come up for any decision. But this is the Two of Pentacles, by the way. As I said, this is the Three of Cups, this is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles, being a Pentacles card, would relate to work and finances, but is very, very common when trying to decide between two jobs, between two career paths, when trying to decide between being an employee or self-employed. So this one comes up for work a lot. And much more interestingly, I think, when we look at employee and self-employed, we've got two very different cards to represent the kind of the best and the worst of those two options. So look at that. Look at the Fool. Look at how free and happy he is. Nobody's telling him what to do. That, I guess, is the nicest thing about being self-employed. This is the dream. This is the fantasy. You're self-employed. You get to work whatever hours you want to work. You get to do whatever you want to do. That is true if you were already born very, very wealthy, with your health intact, and with no other problems. In reality, being self-employed is not exactly like that. And I know that a few of you would already know that, that when you're self-employed, it's not that you never work. You always work. The YouTube here finishes at 11 p.m. my time. At 11:15, I've got somebody booked for an hour and a half reading. So this is more of a aspiration for the self-employed, but it is a nice aspiration. And if being self-employed suits you, you would absolutely love this, even though I'm going to still be working, quarter to one. On the flip side, we've got the Three of Pentacles. It's the only Pentacles card where the pentacles themselves are not yellow. You see? They're grayish, they're dark. Here we have yellow. Here we have yellow. So these pentacles are dull and not exciting. And here we have three different types of trade. We have the designer, we have the, what do you call the producer, the contractor, and we have the worker, the stonemason. So he's doing physical labor. He's doing the designer is doing kind of the mental labor. And the, again, not producer, the contractor is masterminding it. Each of them is doing their own trade. Each of them is staying in their lane. In a way, if you're somebody who likes stability and who enjoys routine, this might look like a wonderful turn of events for you. If you're somebody who likes being more of the Fool, then the Pentacle situation doesn't look very exciting to you at all. So all of these cards can relate to work in one way or another. And then I actually pulled the Seven of Wands as well. Because here we've got somebody who is holding a wand in both hands, no giggles, and he's facing 6 other people who also hold wands. He has tactical advantage because he is higher up than them. But as you can see, one of his boots are missing. So that tactical advantage is, shall we say, compromised. And he is struggling to stay at the top. This could be somebody who was promoted, but maybe didn't deserve the promotion so much. Or if other people are trying to backbite to get to his position. So this can relate to work as well, which I think is very interesting. You know, one of the most fun things about the tarot is that you could have emotional cards that represent work. You could have money cards that represent relationships. So, you know, we'll do a few more in a second. We've got a few responses and one reading request. So let's see what we've got. About the pictures, Lucianne says, sure did. And they're gorgeous. I'd love to see them. I don't know if I'll be able to share them here because I find it very confusing to use like the different buttons on here. But I would love to see pictures of the moon. Mark says, so he says, to get to tonight's topic, what is it? I'm interested and want to know. Now you do. Rob says, I didn't see anything with the moon, but I sure felt the goddess unveiling, Thoth priestess style. Even acted as messenger to a priestess, which I didn't realize at the time of my doing it. Wow. That is very Pisces full moon. Mark said, a friend is watching the royals and she put sunbed left. Oh my God, maybe howl. It's set in the 70s. She met Sinbad out of Brookside who appeared in it. Sinbad is in Brookside? Sinbad like the pride. I don't know anything in TV. Lucianne says, card pull for relationships would be much appreciated. Absolutely. Let's do a little card pull for relationships. I'm using the Thoth deck for that. And this is Lucianne's relationships. You know what? It says to you, you're optimistic, you're happy. If something is starting and it feels like fun, go with it. Don't overthink it. And the thing is, it's a trick message, because even if you were to overthink it, it would still pass. It would still be okay. But not overthinking will be a gift that you give yourself. Not overthinking is the correct way to approach it. You could overthink and nothing bad would happen, but the not overthinking is the preferable conduct, because everything is okay. So why would you imagine that it's not? Let me know. Rob says, you know what's coming up as a work card for me at the moment a lot? The 6 of Pentacles. I guess maybe because I'm a manager, I see the middle guy as manager delegating tasks. That's a fabulous card for work. It's a fabulous card. If you're going to be a fabulous card, if you're going to be any of the guys, you definitely want to be the middle one. That's the wealthy one. I love that for you. I don't know how fast or slow we're going, because any concept of time is I've not got there yet. I will. But yeah, I think we're going to look at the 6 of Pentacles because it is quite crucial for work. Mark says, yeah, but as a self-employed person, it's a hard start, but we live it, and let's not start about tax, etc. Tax is very complicated. It's very complicated, but it's best to do it. And also, you know, now you've got, instead of sort of getting an expensive advisor, you've got like your AI that helps out with getting everything done. My life hack for getting the tax done correctly is to basically read all the questions and answer them. It used to be like long ago that you'd get like a huge booklet with the questions, and it's like if you print it out, it'd be like dozens of pages, and then a booklet for putting in all the answers. You just sort of do side by side. Now it's online, and it also calculates for you, so that's a little bit easier. Rose says 5 of Wands can be a bit worky for me too, but that would make sense if you worked where I work. Let's find it. Now I'm curious. 5 of Wands. Like the wands are active, so it would make sense. But, you know, that sounds like a very exhausting workplace. Looking for the 5. I've got the 3. I've got the 4. The 5 is the hiding. Let's talk about that one before any of the others. Yeah, the 5 is kind of what happens before the 6. I see the 5 and the 6 as like naturally flowing from one to the other. So yeah, that'll be the next one we look at. Mark says, do you know, I honestly don't know which one I prefer. I mean, employed and you're someone's lackey. I know what you want to say. But also self-employed is hard sometimes, so it's worth it in the long run. I think different people have completely different personalities. I think people who need to feel stable, people who need to have the, you know, their holiday pay and their sick pay, and to know that they've got a job tomorrow, don't have a choice. Being self-employed will be too mentally challenging for them. So those personality types need to be in, you know, in what is termed a day job. But I know that for me, it's not really a choice. In a day job, that would be an unmitigated disaster. Being told what to do is one of my bottom favorite things to do. And I am also, you know, I'm a creative person. So if I need to do something that is very uncreative for a long time, I find that unmotivating. Whereas as self-employed, I find it really easy to create my own list of tasks and to stay on top of almost everything. And it's always almost everything, but to hit my deadlines and to be where I need to be, looking like how I need to look. It's not only that I can do it, but I find it easy. So, and that is correct for my personality type. I think not a lot of people would be both. I think not a lot of people would be neither. You generally fall into one or the other, just in your personality, not like in your fears and anxieties. If it's your fears and anxieties that say, I have to have routine because otherwise everything's going to blow up, then that's something different. But if it's just your personality that favors routine, then you know where the right thing for you is, you know where you belong. Rob says, we're like 25 years past being able to explain the excitement of Sinbad to you. I would say so. I would say so. Because if it's a character or a person that goes by the name of Sinbad, who is not like the actual Sinbad, I don't know. Mark says, don't know anything on TV, so you won't be interested. There is a 3rd season of Wednesday Commission. I bet I know someone there who would do, though. No, I don't even remember exactly what was going on, but Wednesday was involved with some anti-Semitic rant, so I'm not even, not even remotely. She can keep it. Rob says, at the moment of this message is 22:27. No, I know what the time is, but I don't know how long I spent guessing compared with, you know, psychic developing. And I frankly don't know how many more cards I'll pull out of there that that have like a work aspect to them. Lucianne says about the reading, thank you. It has been really complex. you know what? It says that it doesn't need to be really complex. It doesn't need to be really complex. Jump in. And don't even jump in going, well, hey, whatever happens, happens. I don't care if it destroys me. No, no, that's too many words. No, jump in, just like you would jump out of your new front door, stoop and onto the grass. Just just jump in, expecting to land softly. Ma, creative snap, as you know, I really need to get a diary for 2026, right? It's alarming how helpful a diary can be. Luciane said, just send you pics on Facebook Messenger. Not sure how easy it is for you to see them yet. Super easy. Let's do it. I think that'll be my hack. Instead of finding a way to pull the messages, to pull the pictures onto the screen, I'm just going to show them from my screen there. That is cool with you. So this is Luciane's picture of the full moon, and this is so stunning. So you've got those willows there. It's absolutely gorgeous. These are good to like go on a wall. They're fabulous. First from the cliff, second by my garden. Have you moved to the actual Garden of Eden? I'm sending you some hearts back. Thank you so much. Luciane says, I'm not enjoying the second season of Wednesday. Yeah. That is cool. Mark says, was it? I don't recall that. Let me know later because I honestly didn't realize, what I'm like about that. I do. Nice pics, Luciane. Loving them. And we've got a haha there. Right. So let's have a look at a few more worky cards in Rider-Waite-Smith. Starting, as I said, with the Five of Wands, where I was going to say Mark, where Rob could see himself, and also the Six of Pentacles has come up. Now, if we look really hard, every card can have a work aspect. And how that works is that if somebody sits in front of you for a reading and says, can you turn just one card to see how my work would be? You could get any of the cards and you want to do your job, or for me as a reader, I want to do my job and I want to get a good, strong message out of that one card. And it's a very common question that I get asked. So if somebody says, I want to get a work message, and the work message will be represented in one card, and one of the 78 come up, I'll read it for sure. So all of them have got something that you can say about work, but some of the cards are just more sort of readily there than others. So I have a whole bunch in front of me, and we're starting with Rob's duo. The Five of Wands it's not so much about work, it's more about a workplace. Now, officially, the meaning of the card is when you try to collaborate with people, but it's kind of chaotic in the beginning, and then hopefully eventually you manage to put it together. What this actually represents, like in a workplace situation, is like a biggest competition. Do you know what I mean? Everybody tries to show off. Everybody tries to be like the big one. Everybody tries to be like the important one. Everybody tries to get like the praise from the boss and so on. So it's really a struggle. It's very possible that everybody's going to start collaborating nicely in the end, but I would say equally possible that they never do. Whereas for Rob the manager, the Six of Pentacles is a fabulous work card. It literally shows two people getting paid. They might be getting alms, they might be getting charity, but they are receiving money. So they are getting paid, and it could be that Rob is the manager, as he said, and he's paying one person, either paying them their wage or paying them attention, in guiding them, in telling them how to work in the future. It could be that you're just sort of starting, maybe an apprenticeship, and you need to be on your knees a little bit in front of like the master or the person that teaches, in front of the person who pays the bills. I used to go to this fabulous hairdresser in Finchley. He was incredible. He was like a king of highlights back when Aniston highlights were like all the rage. And he would get trainees and he was awful to them. And the one time I said to the trainee, who would be like completely silent while he yelled at her, I said to her, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's such a privilege to be able to learn from somebody with such a gift." So this could even be like an apprenticeship or like the first job. My Not like first boss in England, but one of my first bosses in England used to do this thing where he'll just sort of crumple up paper, throw it on the floor, and say to one of the workers, "Pick it up." Now me, I'd pick it up, but I had an Australian friend that went, "You pick it up," and just took her coat and left. Maybe she's not one of those guys on their knees, but yeah, this really relates to work. Now, I pulled two cards that are basically like your winner takes all cards. The sun and the world, the universe. The sun and the universe are two such phenomenal cards that if somebody says to you, can you turn me over one card about work? This says everything's going exactly the way it should be going. This says you can stay optimistic. So even though they don't only relate to work, they don't even that much relate to work, these two are such phenomenal winner takes all cards that is the answer. Even if somebody says, I've got some, I don't know, like medical tests, how am I going to do? Then this comes out, it's like, yeah, you're going to do all right. They're going to tell you that, you've got the good health of somebody 20 years younger. This comes up, then you've got the good health of somebody 21 years younger. Do you know what I mean? So I just sort of pull them as kind of a general. Let's go back to the worky stuff. And even though she's not working, I wanted to get the trophy wife in there. The trophy wife works. I mean, she earns. I mean, she gets money for being herself. She might have passion projects. She might literally work from home. Maybe she has a side business styling. Maybe she has a side business doing people's wardrobes. Maybe she has a side business caring for other people's kids in her house along with her own kids. But the trophy wife could work, probably work, does work in her own way. She earns money for something that she does or for something that she is. So it's kind of worky. The swiftness card, so we've got the 8 of Wands here, and you know what I see in this one? So the swiftness card is like a quick promotion, climbing the ladder. You're here, maybe tomorrow you're here, in 3 weeks you're here, and you're getting promoted quite swiftly. So if that comes for work, you can accurately predict that the people in charge of the person who's asking the question are about to retire and or otherwise not be working there anymore sometime soon. Quick promotion. It's a swiftness card, very, very fast. Now, remember that we had the 2 of Pentacles, as in trying to decide what work, what path, what journey. The 2 of Swords is very similar as well. It might not be deciding between two, but it could be deciding between taking the job and not taking the job. It's still a decision. And whereas with the 2 of Pentacles, you might have had a lot of information and you couldn't really choose, here you don't have a lot of information. The real decision is whether you want to work or whether you don't want to work. Which is it? Which is it? Are you getting to the end of your savings, or are you still all right before you become destitute? So this one is also a decision one. Let's look at some more aspects. This, I really think, has to do with work. I see this card coming up for work situations more than practically any other situation. This comes up when you're offered a promotion, but that promotion has you having to open the shop, shut the shop, and there's no extra money. That's not a promotion. That's not a promotion. That's, bullying. Um, this comes up when you're offered a new role in a new office, and you know that it'll be harder to get to, harder to get back, even if it is more money. So this one is the no thank you card. No thank you, I'm fine with what I've got. No thank you, I'm fine with the work I've got. No thank you, even. No thank you, I'm perfectly happy on the dole, because getting out of my front door and sitting in a cold storeroom all day will not end up with more in my pocket than sitting here signing on. So yeah, this one I think is really interesting for work situations. What else have we got? Let's do a couple more and then look at some more messages. So this one, I pulled it out because it's kind of similar to what we saw with Three of Cups. This is the harvest. This is an eventual success. Three cheers, hurrah, or, welcome to our harvest festival. So this is the end of a project. This could be a debrief. This could be a time limited job that has got to the end, and in the end the boss takes everybody out for dinner. So this is a celebration, and it could be a celebration at the end of a work project. And finally, and this one really is more for the self-employed amongst you, this one is when you've done all the right things. You might be job searching, so you've updated your CV, you've sent your work details to everybody, you've checked in with all the local community groups, you've checked in with all the other moms at the school, you spoke with your previous employers, you've done everything, and now you wait. This could be for self-employed. So you've done up your website. So you've invested in a coaching program. So you've bought 100,000 email addresses, and you're doing a mail shot, and that's it. You wait. So this is a financial card. It's a practical card. It shows that you've done all the right things, either to obtain a job, to obtain work, to obtain some kind of financial status. And once you've done all the right things, then, all you can do is wait. So we've got a few more. I think we've got a few more, but I've gone through the majority of like the worky cards. Let's see what else we've got in the way of questions. So Mark enjoyed the biggest competition. He says, I wonder what that meant. I don't know. I mean, you are quite psychic. Mark says, I've known you long enough to remember your highlight series, Inbaal. So that was the hairdresser. It wasn't that long ago, and you've known me long enough when I had blonde hair. I think one of the first times we spoke was when I was going to that hairdresser for the very first time. Because I remember speaking to you when I just got those highlights. Like when I first made the appointment, had much shorter hair because I had my hair straightened and then all the ends broke off. So the hair was just like to here, which is really short for me. And then I got like all the highlights put in. And I think I spoke to you that evening because you were saying you couldn't see the highlights at all. And I was like, no, because my hair is so dark that's what blonde highlights look like. Mark says, in fact, when I had no hair, it's true. You've seen me at my worst and will see me at my best on its way the next few years, I reckon. There's nothing wrong with prancing around with no hair. Mark says, question is, am I on the right path career-wise? Interesting, isn't it? I mean, to go from the bits I've done to this, it's a mega jump. Let's check it out. Let's see. Are you on the right path career-wise or not quite? So You're definitely on the right path career wise. It's just that it's plural, careers wise. So you don't need to give up one in order to do well in another. It says you are on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing. It says don't be too emotional. So there are some elements of the career where you might feel emotionally attached to something. There could be a creation and you think, well, I see that creation in the mouth of this person. I see this creation on the shelves of that, um, that project, that strategy. Don't get emotional. Whoever buys it is fine. A customer is a customer. Luciane says the Two of Swords, I see it as a possible third option as there is an island in the background too. Let's pull it up. How exciting. It's multiple islands. Yes. So we've got those options, but yeah, we've got like a big land in the background. And also, do you know, there's something about the cards that have like a stage that it's on, right? Because this one, he's in a real situation, is actually there on the mountain. Whereas this one, is it real? Is it for show? Is there something that we don't know here? And yeah, so some of the cards are really, or they really look like they're on a stage. And Pamela Coleman Smith was, if I'm not mistaken, like a stage designer, would you call it, stage stylist. So this one is a bit of a stage, right? Whereas this one, definitely not. Yeah, he's standing there on the ground. When I was picking it up, there was another stage. I lost it now. Right, yeah, this one. It's a bit of a stage, right? There's something a bit cartoonish about it. Whereas, for example, this, definitely not. So yeah, so the Two of Swords has even got that kind of is it even real vibe. Mark says, I'm actually teaching a friend of mine at the moment. She said similar to you, Luciane, but I always see the cards as something which everyone sees different. I really agree with that. I really agree that the tarot can appear different, not just to everyone, but even to you, the reader, at different times. Look who is here. Bigfoot Outlaw, Grizz himself, whose channel it is saying hello, everyone. Hi, Grizz. Welcoming. Mark is welcoming Grizz. Amazing to be back. Amazing to see you here. We're talking about the tarot cards that relate to work situations, and we're also doing little bits of readings here and there. So let me know if you fancy one. So we're getting quite close to the end. So let me see if we've got any more cards that relate to work. Yeah, plenty. And we're going to go through them. Yeah, like all of them. We're going to go through them and we're going to we're going to chat about them a little bit more. Oh, and Mary's here as well. Hi, I love that you're both watching. Are you like side by side on little laptops? We miss you. I missed you too, but it's lovely to be gone and to sort of come back. Right, so we've got two cards, Death and the Tower, that both can represent a big change around work. So obviously it can also, it says yes we are, it's so cute. So obviously it can represent a big scary change in any aspect of your life. But if somebody asks you about work and you get Death or the Tower, this is telling you something. So the Tower is usually external changes. So it could be that the whole company is shutting down, the whole company is being sold to a third party, whereas the Death card is usually internal change. So it could be you and your two besties that are going, right, we are quitting and we are starting something new. So Death internal, Tower external. We haven't seen a really positive one in a while, so have a wee look at this one. This is basically a gift from God. This is a job offer that you weren't expecting. This could also be like a lottery win or an engagement ring. But because we're looking at work specifically, this is an unexpected job offer that comes just out of the blue. You have not applied for this and it's coming. So if somebody says to you, how are things going with my work? And you get this, you tell them to turn up in the morning every morning because somebody's got some good plans for them. This is the main one that I wanted to talk about. This card represents work in such a worky way, in such a labory way. And what this person is doing is he is honing his craft. And that's something that you need across the board, whether you're self-employed, whether you're an employee, whether you run a big business, honing your craft. He's creating the same thing again and again and again until he becomes the absolute best at that. I remember sort of seeing some statistics years ago. It's the kind of statistics you get from Facebook, but it was before Facebook was invented, where the Beatles have played something like 10,000 hours before they got signed. And because they were always gigging in the cabin, then by the time a manager came to them, they were the best there was. Similarly, Stephen King has always, even when he wasn't earning anything from his work, his wife would go out to work and Stephen King would get up in the morning, set himself up with a typewriter and write and write and write. And those people became enormously successful. This tells you to keep honing your craft because good things come to those who are like the best. Make yourself the best. Make yourself the best. And you know how you make yourself the best? By practicing. Practice, practice, practice. We've got this one. It's not really a worky card as such, but it does relate to job offers. This is the pie in the sky card. And if somebody offers you this and that for a startup, and if you sell this much, then you're going to earn this much, and this card comes up, I would say steer clear. This is a pie in the sky. Nobody can promise you stuff that they're not like confident that they can give you. If you're going to work for yourself, amazing. We had the fool just jump out there. But if you're going to work for somebody else, you need a salary, right? No big promises. What else have we got? And then we're looking at different aspects of how you might feel at work. So Rob has opened us up to the five of wands, where you might feel like the whole work situation is a battle all the time. We also have the 9 and the 10 of wands. The 9 of wands and indeed the 9 of swords, both of them show you feeling unsafe at work. When you've got the 9 of swords, you're waking up from nightmares about work. When you've got the 9 of wands, you never feel safe when you're there. You take your wallet with you, you lock the bathroom, you whisper when you have to leave a voice note. So those two are without a doubt toxic work situations. And finally, the 10 of wands has you in a workplace where the workload is untenable. The workload is untenable. And when the workload is untenable, it's important to remember that you're being managed by a boss who thinks that that untenable workload is totally fine. So that makes it a huge red flag. So these were really sort of the cards that I think relate to work the most. But like I said, every card has got a work aspect to it. So let's read the last few messages and then we're going to sign off because we've been enjoying ourselves for a whole hour, and that's how long the show is. Mary says, we are on the couch together, sitting here watching you. You guys are the cutest. Mark says, thanks for the answer, by the way. Yeah, I remember with your highlights, 19 years, nearly 20 is a long time. Yeah, I think it's 20 was summer. Rob says, I have reorganized all my drawers while listening. I feel like I deserve 2 pairs now. So let's go get that. Enjoy your pairs. Um, didn't drawers while listening because I told myself that I had to get it done during this live or I would end up leaving it days. Yeah, no, we're doing these not drawers, these shelves right now. So this shelf that you can't see that's empty is because it's all on the floor. So we're going to sort what books stay and what books are going to the charity shop. It's a good meditative thing to do. Rob says, Seven of Pentacles is such a keep calm and carry on card for me. Like, keep doing what you're doing. A workout is what it means to me. Yeah. No, that's certainly an aspect. Let's get, have I had that out? Have I not had that out? Yeah, I'm panicking. Mark says, right, folks, this is your 5-minute warning. It's less than 5 minutes now. Lucianne says, thank you, everyone. Lovely to be back in this wonderful space. I'm so excited to be providing this wonderful space for you. Lucianne says, catch you Thursday if you're here, or Textland before then. Keep safe and enjoy yourself between now and then. Almost, Mabon. Yeah, so we had the one eclipse, and for the equinox, we have yet another. Right, amazing. Thank you, everybody, for easing my way back. And hopefully I will see all of you together with me. So I'm looking for my closing credits. Together with me on Thursday with the beautiful Laura. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.